Welcome to ThinkTech on OC16, Hawaii's weekly newscast on things that matter to tech and to Hawaii. I'm your host, Duke Oishi.
And I'm your co-host, Maria Kasher.
In our show this time, we'll cover the February District Science Fair at Iolani School and take a look at some of the projects there.
We'll talk to some of the students about their projects and their science, and we'll talk to some of the judges too.
The Hawaii Association of Independent Schools HAIS District Science Fair was held for the first time at Iolani last Saturday.
It's the largest of the 9 district fairs held in Hawaii. Winning projects from all islands go on to the Hawaii State Science and Engineering Fair at the Convention Center in late March, and after that, maybe go on to the regional and national science fair competitions on the mainland.
There were many creative, interesting, and diverse projects at the fair, just the way we like it. There were 17 categories and 3 judges in each category, and lots of people were involved. It was great to see them all coming together for science in Hawaii.
Over 200 middle school projects and 40 senior projects were presented. The junior projects, that is for grades 6 through 8, were presented in Sito Hall.
And my project is Roses Are Purple, Violets Are Green. How do flowers get their colors, and how can we as humans alter them?
The project is about aquaponics, and I was growing strawberries with a horizontal and vertical system to see which one was better.
We wanted to make explosive arrows like all these famous pop culture pics that you see here. We needed lightweight materials that wouldn't drive the arrow off target. We got 32 caliber bullet shells that were the exact diameter of our arrows. We removed the bullets from these shells, sealed them, and then connected them to the front of our arrows with surgical tubing. No animals or people were injured during the making of this movie.
My project is about soda bottle rocket launcher, and my hypothesis was to see which rocket can fly higher.
I wanted to build the most efficient bridge we can, the most cost-effective bridge, the strongest bridge. So I built the Warren Truss Bridge and the Howe Truss Bridge. So you're looking at 2 model popsicle stick bridges. Both are to scale and everything. I tried to stay as close to the design as possible. They both have about the same amount of sticks, but the one that actually had the better, it carried the most weight was actually the smaller one because of the better design. I just put weight at their weakest point and I hung it down. So the smallest one held 65 pounds with only 2 ounces of sticks. And the bigger one held 60 pounds with only 2 ounces of sticks.
My project is about Archimedes' Death Ray, which he used to defend the city of Syracuse 300 or so BC. The initial interest for my project came from I wanted to roast marshmallows without using an open flame. So I kind of looked into it. Several people have worked on it, and it uses a parabolic mirror. It reflects beams of light into a certain point where it can cause a fire or roast a marshmallow.
My project is can I build a telescope that works for $125 or less? And I found out that no, you can't. You can build a telescope under that under $125, but you can't build a really good one.
My project is on flight and plane-wing shapes, and which shapes provide the most lift of any sort of plane you could possibly think of. I had 5 designs. My first design was sort of one similar to a commercial airliner. The second one similar to the one of a jet. The third one similar to the one of a Concorde, which was a supersonic airliner, for those for you who don't know. The fourth was more of a World War II design, and the fifth was sort of a glider or a Cessna's wing. And in the end, the actual wing that did the best was the one of the World War II design.
My project was called the Frozone Layer, and it is about instantly freezing water through supercooling and snap freezing. I tested distilled water, tap water, and spring water to see which one would cool the best and freeze the best. The things that I found out was that the tap water and the spring water tied, which I didn't think that the tap water would freeze at all, and that the spring water only froze once. And now it's a slush instead of liquid water.
My project is called Solar Cookies. For my project, I built my own homemade solar oven and I tested to bake solar cookies outside in the sun. I used sugar cookies, peanut butter cookies, and chocolate chip cookies, and my problem was to find which type of cookie baked the best in my solar oven. My hypothesis was that the sugar cookies would bake the best because of the simplicity of the ingredients, but it turned out that the peanut butter cookies baked the best because of the most sugar and baking soda that it contained.
This is our project. It's called Up in Flames, and it's about does the type of wood affect how long it burns?
Well, we learned that it's not actually the type of wood that affects how long it burns, that it's actually the density that affects how long it burns.
How do you measure density?
You take it's mass divided by volume, so yeah, we recorded the mass of each piece of wood and the density, and yeah, we did mass divided by volume.
It's about how does the lemon battery, potato battery, and the alkaline battery compare in terms of voltage.
Our hypothesis is if we test the power of the potato, lemon, and alkaline battery, then the alkaline battery will have the highest output because alkaline batteries are specifically designed for high output.
We tested the voltage of each kind of battery. We did different kinds of potatoes, and then we did lemons, and then we did alkaline batteries, and we did 2 different brands to see if there was any difference in voltage.
Katie Jackson.
Yes.
Right, from
Hi. I am
research judge.
I am a junior research judge. Yes.
What does that mean, and what kind of experience are you having?
Good question. It actually means that I'm only qualified to judge the juniors. Actually, this is the second time I've judged. First time at district, I was a judge last year at state, and the experience made me want to come back. I'm also a science teacher, science and math teacher, and I actually really like judging science fairs because you actually get a chance to learn yourself, and you're kind of on the cutting edge of where kids are thinking, and it allows you to learn yourself. And some of the projects and the creativity are really ingenious, so you get a chance to look at maybe 25 projects and not have to do any of the work.
My project was, I decided to build a better Zeppelin, which is this contraption right here, which has about like 10 balloons. It had 10 balloons, now it only has 9, because a friend of mine popped it.
You know that Leonardo da Vinci did something very similar.
Yes, well now I know that.
And I did my science project. I wanted to figure out what angles could fire a projectile the farthest, or just throwing a football, or just throwing a piece of trash away. So what I did was I went to the historic runway on Ford Island and fired my cannons, and I marked how far they went.
My project is about making magnets using the rubbing method, which is where you rub a nail or any piece of metal with a strong earth magnet to make a magnet. I couldn't rub it by hand, so I had to use a Dremel. So I put the nail in the Dremel, turned it on to half speeds, and I rubbed it on the magnet, and then it made a permanent magnet over here, and that is still there.
My question was, will caffeine affect athletic ability? I got this project because one day I was going to a football game and my parents got coffee and I tried it and I felt that I played better. So I kept doing it and I wanted to see if it was actually helping me or if I just thought I was doing better with it. So I got a group of my friends to come and drink coffee if they were allowed, and gave them about 5 minutes to digest it and stuff, and then I made them run to a certain amount of a distance, and then I timed them and put them down. And then I threw footballs to them, and then a week later I did the same thing but without caffeine.
Less hunkily. I'd say the first part I don't like about judging is judging. What I do like about judging is talking to the kids and also trying to convince them about science is an interesting thing to be involved in. I asked them, did they have fun? I asked them, did they learn something? And then hopefully that they'll get involved in science going forward. I also asked them, what would they do next year with this project, or how would they improve it again? They know how to do it better next time, and that's really about the learning process. A number of them are already thinking about what they're going to do next year.
Holly Lindsay was the chief judge for the middle school projects.
I am so delighted. We are now in the midday of 2 sessions of judging for the middle school HAIS district fair. We have 213 projects of just middle school alone. 42 for the seniors that have already finished, God bless them. But we're here with the afternoon session. We've had so much enthusiasm, so much energy, and I have to say I'm really bragging about my judges this year. They have gone way, way beyond the call of duty, even skipping their lunches so that they can discuss the quality of the projects and make sure that those they select from this fair will go on to states and do Hawaii proud. Like everything else in life, it is a competition here, but a lot of the kids that are here today have already survived their school fairs, and they're the cream of the crop of their school. So they are here representing their school, and hopefully will go on to the state science fair later on this year. I have seen so many of them that I thought, oh gee, they have a long way to go. The teachers that help them, or their mentors, their parents, they realize you have to up the ante every year. And you know, there's a huge difference between, you'll see, between the middle school projects and the senior projects generally. There they make this huge leap, and that's, you know, why we're here. It's really exciting to see that improvement every year. And some of these kids I've seen before, and I will see again, I hope, and that's what we're all about. We don't want to discourage them. We want to empower them, saying, this is something I can do.
Song Choi from the College of Engineering at UH Manoa was the chief judge for the senior projects.
We've been pushing a lot on the robotics end, and we have a lot of students involved with that robot carrot, and we're trying to get them into the science, engineering, and math. I think a science fair is important because it allows you to explore areas outside of the robotics realm. It also encourages a lot more individual effort at the science fair, and we want each of them to understand the importance of articulation of ideas and theories that they come up with, of course, as well as working with their mentors, working with partners, and working individually to conquer and come up with results. You know, I've always stressed one thing, and that is to all the elementary, middle, and high school students, because we live in an isolated region, it is all about exposure. If we can get students exposed to different ideas, different ways of doing things, different perspectives, we're going to be in that global competition with everybody else in trying to come up with unique solutions for our islands. You know, we've all talked about island solutions, and island solutions are never the same as someplace on the mainland. We are restricted by the isolationist area, and we have the biggest isolation because we live in the middle of the Pacific. And we also tie in very closely with a lot of the other island countries, as well as countries that are isolated by land. So a lot of similarities, a lot of unique solutions, a lot of ways to collaborate, a lot of ways to become global.
Even though the fair was at Iolani, Iolani only had one entry, our old young friend Christopher Lindsay, Holly's son. He has been working on an amazing project that has already led to the discovery of an extrasolar planet off Jupiter.
My project this year was on the study and discovery of extrasolar planets, which are any planet that is revolving around a star, not our own sun. So not the normal ones you hear about, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. The discovery and the science and the search of extrasolar planets is a very new topic The first exoplanet revolving around a normal main sequence star was discovered in 1995 around the constellation of Pegasus. Now, there are many different methods of discovering an exoplanet. There's the Doppler shift method, which involves looking at the red shift or blue shift of the stars moving towards or away from Earth. There's the direct observation method, which involves looking at the star and looking at the planet directly and actually seeing the planet. But the method that I used to attempt to discover my exoplanet was the exoplanet transit method, which involves looking at the brightness of the star and looking on how it changes if an exoplanet revolves in front of it. This is an example of an exoplanet transit and what it looks like. Pretend that you are the observer, the telescope. This is a star, and this is a planet revolving around the star. As the exoplanet crosses in front of the disk of the star dims, but as it goes out of the disk of the star's brightness goes back to normal. That's what I'm looking for with my project. I am looking at star brightness over time and looking for a dip in the star brightness indicating that an exoplanet has crossed in between that star and the observer. Now, in order to obtain this data and in order to find an exoplanet, I first was very fortunate to work with the European Space Agency, or the ESA, and their satellite telescope, the CORO, or Convection, Rotation, and Planetary Transits Telescope. This telescope scans the sky with a low-resolution camera, but it has a very sensitive detector, and it's very sensitive to light fluctuations.
Not bad. Christopher is 14 and discovering strange new worlds in outer space. He's also been chosen to go to the Super Science Fair in Kyoto.
I began looking for a project and wanted to specialize in a health and medicine topic because I wanted to pursue a project that might have potential implications in helping humankind. So I began looking into topics such as cancer, alkylating agents, genes, genetic mutations, and basically chemotherapy topics. And I came up with a hypothesis to change the time intervals between various drugs that have specific roles in fighting cancer, chemotherapy drugs. Changing the time intervals might be able to greatly improve the effectiveness of the present-day chemotherapy treatment. I looked online and using other people's materials and methods, and along with their abstracts and introductions, I was able to come up with a hypothesis that not only included my general project idea, but also doses of drugs to use and specifics of the projects, as well as exact procedures I wanted to pursue.
So who helped you on the project?
Well, that was my original idea. However, after looking for my idea, I went to the Cancer Research Center to look for professors, and 2 of them were willing to mentor me. One of them actually said that his lab used to work on the exact same work that I did, which I was surprised because I was merely a high school student looking for a science fair project. The second one was willing to mentor me. I worked in the first professor's lab doing my project for several years. However, the lab closed down due to lack of funds, and I had to look for my second professor who mentored me on this project. This project was a 2-year study which involved 2 full-time summer internships and research at one of the labs at the University of Hawaii Cancer Center every day after school for several hours each day for 2 years.
It's fantastic to see all these kids and their parents so deeply committed to science, and to see so many great projects. Who says Hawaii can't do science? We can hardly wait to go to the State Science Fair in March, where all the winners will compete statewide. You should go too. And now let's take a look at our ThinkTech calendar of events going forward.
ThinkTech broadcasts video and audio for all of our talk shows live on the internet from 1 to 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon, and we replay them all night long on Ustream.tv. If you missed the show or want to replay or share any show, they're all archived on YouTube.
Visit ThinkTechHawaii.com for our live stream and YouTube links, or to join our email list and get these links and advisories on our upcoming shows.
We also invite you to be part of our live audience at our downtown studio in Pioneer Plaza. Contact Jay at ThinkTechHawaii.com. Raise your awareness in every way on ThinkTech. And now, here's this week's ThinkTech commentary.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel with a rant. You know, there are probably a lot of other things in city government we can rant about, but congestion is one thing that comes to mind on a regular basis. I get on the Poly Highway going to town at 7:30 in the morning. Most businesses start at 8 a.m., and yet the traffic is locked up at 0 to 2 miles an hour. Everyone's stuck. All those people just sitting there oblivious in those expensive gas-guzzling SUVs with tinted windows, totally unproductive for hours every day. They can't even make calls. What do you think this does to our economy? If you count up the hours wasted in a given year, even at minimum wage, the loss is staggering. What's more shocking, though, is that there have been no steps taken to ameliorate this congestion. For the most part, the roads and lanes are the same. The lights are the same. There are no sensors. They're not timed. You sit at the intersection and wait for no reason. No process, structure, or technology has been changed. Every day, we still have the traffic, worst in the nation, but we keep buying cars and stuffing the roads with them. It demonstrates our pseudo-affluence. Electric cars have not even made a dent. Everyone drives alone. There are only a few school buses, the kind that built the country. But not for us. We take our kids individually. A good percentage of the traffic at rush hour is one parent and one child. Is there a good reason for not having school buses? How many PhDs do we need to know that something is wrong and to figure out a solution? We drive in this mess every day. We don't even fix the potholes. The roads are deteriorating faster than they were before. And we're getting used to it. We don't complain so much anymore. We take it for granted. Shigata ganai, it can't be helped. We've all but given up on fixing things, and that's the greatest tragedy of all. A few whimpering complaints are not enough. We need pitchforks. We need public outrage to make the point. This has to be the top priority, the first line of defense against slipping back to third world. If we choose to live with it, that will send a message to government, a message that we don't care, so they can do even less. If we take it all for granted, then we will all be in near gridlock all the time. And P.S., if you hadn't heard it before, rail isn't going to help. You think this has no effect? It affects our quality of life and our self-image in the community. How can we buy the claim that Hawaii is such a beautiful place when we don't live in that place? We live in another place, a place in traffic. To say que sera, as if our delicate condition was divinely established, is ridiculous. This is the 21st century. We do have the technology. Someone in city government has to get the technology and fix the congestion. Inaction is a public shame and politically unforgivable. We should be mad as heck, and we shouldn't take it anymore. Think of this the next time you're stuck in traffic, which I'm sure will be very soon. Mahalo for listening to my rant. I'm Jay Fidel. Aloha.
We'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of ThinkTech, but first we want to thank our underwriters.
Castle and Cook, Hawaii. Investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state. Collateral Analytics, empowering the real estate industry to make better informed property investment decisions. The Foreign Trade Zone, bringing the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone programs to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. Galen Ho, a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company. Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Maui Electric and Hawaii Electric Light Company on Hawaii Island. The Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, incorporating diverse perspectives to design a flexible and forward-looking energy strategy. Hawaii Energy, the state's energy and efficiency program created to help Hawaii's residents and businesses adopt a clean energy lifestyle. Hawaii Gas, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future. Hawaii Pacific Health, bringing technology and teamwork together to transform healthcare in Hawaii. The High Tech Development Corporation, attached to DBED, is the state's leading technology agency. The Scheidler Family Foundation, supporting educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including ThinkTech.
Okay, Maria, that wraps up this week's edition of ThinkTech. Remember, you can watch ThinkTech on OC16 several times every week. Can't get enough of it, just like Jay Fidel. For additional times, check out oc16.tv.
Definitely, Duke. For lots more ThinkTech videos and for underwriting opportunities on ThinkTech on OC16, visit thinktechhawaii.com. Be a guest, a volunteer, a producer, or a studio intern, and help us reach Hawaii.
I'm Duke Oishi. Thanks so much for joining us on ThinkTech. You can watch this show throughout the week and tune in next Sunday evening for our next important weekly episode. Aloha, everyone.
I'm Maria Kasher. See you next time.